This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now then, back when I was a kid, in fact back in the year of 1980, when I was 13 years old, every Christmas and every birthday I knew what my present was going to be from my grandmother. She always used to get me a hit parade LP, in modern parlance that is a chart compilation album, and she always used to get me the good ones, the ones that are not available in shops, the ones that you used to see advertised on TV by K-Tel and Ronco, and she'd, bless her, she'd go down to the post office and buy the postal orders and send off whatever the latest LP was that they were kind of plugging in TV commercials at the time, and that would be my main not my main present, but that would be my present off my grandmother, bless her. And I was just reflecting on this the other day because I did that video a couple of weeks ago about that Formula 30 rock compilation album from about 1983 or 84, sometime about then. And it just got me thinking about the weird mix of songs that you used to get on these compilation albums back then. I've tried all this morning to try and find the album I'm thinking of on Google, and I just can't find it, but I do remember some of the tracks that were on it. Use It Up and Wear It Out by Odyssey, Union City Blue by Blondie, Liquid Gold, Dance Yourself Dizzy, Stacey Ladislaw, Jump to the Beat, B.A. Robertson, Bang Bang. And there was one track on this particular album I'm thinking of that introduced me to a rather special guitarist partially via this solo. Yes, indeed. The live version of Dr. Doctor by UFO appeared on one of these K-Tel or Ronco albums. That was me having a stab at the solo from the studio version because it's got a nice little bit of harmony guitar work on it that I thought was worthy of looking at. And it's, this is essentially the story of how my grandmother introduced me to Michael Schenker's music. Funny old world, innit? Anyway, that is the solo, or my rendition of how it goes. Pretty close to the original, even though I say so myself. And here's a little bit of an explanation about what's going on in the solo.
Solo explanation.
Okay, it's a solo of two halves. And we're going to look at the chords first, as usual. The chords for the first half of the solo are basically like this. We've got a bunch of power chords. We're sort of in the key of D minor. We're at roughly 105 beats per minute, and we have a D5 chord going to a B flat 5 chord, C5, back to D5 again. Each of these chords is sustained for an entire bar. Then we do the D5 and B flat 5 again, F5, then G5 and A5 in the same bar. And at that point we kind of just quicken the tempo a little bit before we go on to the second half of the solo, where the tempo increases even more. As I say, when I did my rendition of the solo, that first half of the solo I did at 105 beats per minute, where we've got the kind of slight build-up on the G and A5 chords. I went to 120, and then this next part, the shuffle part essentially, where there's the harmony guitar part, is up at 136 beats per minute, something like this. that's where the vocals come in. So you could see the chords I was playing there: D5, B flat 5, F5, C5, the D, the B flat, the F, and then the G and the A again. So all of those notes in those chords, if you were to add them up, the D5 has a D and an A note in it. The B flat has a B flat and an F. The C5 has a C and a G. The G has a G and a D, and the A has an A and an E. So if you add all of those notes together, you get the D natural minor scale: D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. Okay, and that is pretty much the scale that the solo uses throughout. There's one or two exceptions, and we'll come to those as we go through it. But let's have a look at that first single guitar part that the solo kicks off with. We basically start on the F note, coming up to the F is a strong chord note. It's in a D minor chord. It's the minor third of D minor, and we're playing over a D5, so it's, you know, kind of completing the chord, I guess. You know, the D and the A make a D5, add the F, you get a D minor. So anyway, so it starts on the F, I beg your pardon. Landing on the B flat note over the B flat 5 chord. Go up to the C note over the C5 chord. So there's your first phrase, and then so that's taking us to the second instance of the B flat chord. Then we come down onto the F chord by playing the A note there, which is the major third of that chord. Now, where we've got the G and the A, he does something rather interesting here. He treats the G as a G major by playing a B note over the top of it. B is the note that makes a G into a G major. It's the major third of the chord. And then the A chord, he treats that as an A major as well, so by playing the C sharp over it. So you got like that, which gives a really strong pull back to that D5 chord again. Very kind of clear. You could make the case that, you know, he's kind of stepping outside of the natural minor scale and using the melodic minor scale there, but I don't really think he was thinking in those terms. It's just, you know, notes that fit, essentially. Now we come to the main part of the solo, I guess, and I'm just going to give myself a quick little reminder by looking at the tab. So I'm just firing that up, and we'll start with the main guitar part, what I'm going to call guitar 1, which goes like this. Like that. So all of those notes just come from the D natural minor scale, and anytime we're lingering on a note, anytime we're you know, kind of hanging around, sustaining a note, making it a prominent note, then that note is always going to be either in the power chord concerned or into the slightly expanded major or minor version of that power chord. So here we're going up to the D note over the D5 chord, the B flat note over the B flat chord, and then hitting the A note there, which is the major third of the F chord that we're playing over at that point. And then that little phrase there hangs on to the G note, which is part of the C chord. And then we just basically move everything up a third in the scale. So instead of targeting the D note there, you know, D, E, F is a third up the scale. So now we kind of target the F note. And that kind of takes us to the outro part really there. So the second half of the solo goes like this. Like that. And if you're playing in a single guitar band, that is, I guess, the solo that you would play there, although, because it's tricky to play the harmony parts on a single guitar. That said, Michael Schenker makes a pretty good job of it on the live album, but it's always defeated me, that thing where he's bending a pair of strings pitch perfect at the same time. That's it's okay if you're Michael Schenker, but for me, immortals like us, just, as I say, I used to gig this in a band many years ago, and I just used to play the that, essentially the guitar one part, and it always used to kind of satisfy the audience sufficiently. But if you're playing in a two guitar band, it's worthwhile knowing what the harmony part is, and basically all we're doing here for the harmony is just going a third above all of the notes in that melody that I've just demonstrated there. So anytime we're playing the first guitar part is guitar one is playing a D, like that, then guitar two goes D, E, F and plays the F, and so on, and you just kind of track the notes all the way through the scale. Remember that the scale is D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and then back to D again. So D gets paired up with the next but one note up from it, which is F. F gets paired up with the next but one note up from it, which is an A, and so on and so on. So that's how harmonies kind of work, really. So the second guitar part, the harmony guitar part, goes like this. And then like that. And the only time where we're not harmonizing in a third fashion like that is this last note at the end here, because the guitar one at that point is bending up to an A note for that final note, like this, bending up to the A. Now if you harmonise A in that scale, it takes you to a C note, which isn't a particularly strong note to hang on to over the chord where we're finishing, which is essentially a D minor chord. It won't sound wrong, but it won't sound particularly kind of resolved either. So on occasions like that where you need to harmonise something in thirds, as we're doing here, but harmonising in a third takes you a little bit outside the chord you're resolving to, then it's common practice to resolve to a fourth. So we're basically taking the C note and bending it up to a D, while guitar one is playing rather the G note bent up to an A. So you essentially end up with an A note and a D note at the top of both of those bends, which, as you can see, those two notes are in the D minor chords. So both guitar parts, guitar one, and over the top of that we have guitar two. Put those two guitar parts together and you get that iconic harmonised guitar part that is just, one of the most memorable parts of the song. So that's what's going on the intro solo to Doctor Doctor, or for Doctor Doctor by UFO. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you will find a full tab for that solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a backing track to play along with for yourself. All of that is, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address. Link in the description. $3 or £2.50 $1.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who support me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are, you know where, linked down below. And that is pretty much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars and all manner of other stuff. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.